Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers, sisters. Thank you for joining back in this episode of Light of Reflection, where we're going to continue the series on Quran and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. In this particular discussion, I want to highlight a few things which are very important. Um, so just to recap the last discussion, not the entire series, but the last discussion, we talked about how because of our selective judgment, because of accepting some parts of the Quran and some parts of the narration of the Prophet and ignoring the other part of the Quran and the narrations of the Prophet, either because of prejudice, either because of hatred towards Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, or because of ignorance, and majority of the people have been ignorant for the past hundreds of years as the generations have gone through different stages of the empire where the Ahlul Bayt al-Islam were persecuted and a lot of teachings were not conveyed to the broader Muslim Ummah. We are seeing the selective judgment, the selective selection of narrations is resulting in consequences where our actions are not bearing fruits, where our effort is not resulting in changes in this world. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let's continue from that point. We talked about that Quran and Ahl Bayt alayhi salam are together. Quran is the manifestation of Allah's words, and the rule of the Quran, the guidance are the Ahl Bayt alayhi salam, who explain the Quran, who exemplify the Quran, who personify the Quran, who through their own life define what does Quranic verses mean and how to implement in our lives. So they are literally, according to Imam Ali alayhi salam, the talking Quran, and the other part is the Quran that is silent. That is the Quran that we have in the two, as in the form of the book today. So, if we have the physical Quran and we respect the physical Quran and we are upset about the desecration of the physical Quran, but we are not upset about the desecration and the disrespect of the true soul of the Quran, how can we say that we are following the teachings and the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And how do we show that we are having true taqwa, as mentioned in Surah Al-Hajj, that taqwa is about showing respect to the signs of Allah. And let me give you an example about a place in this world today in 2023 where the graves of the four Qurans, where the four Qurans lay in complete ruin for the past 100 years. The current state of the Baqee cemetery reminds us of all the atrocities that happened on the household of the Prophet over the past 1400 years. And not only about 1400 years, over the 1400 years, but you can still today be reminded of what the atrocities were 1400 years ago. In Saudi Arabia, if you go today, you can feel that pain. And I'll give you four examples, and there are many more examples, but I'll give you four examples because they might be easy to reflect, resonate, and to remind yourself with. First is about the broken graves of the four Qurans that lay in Baqi. These are Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the grandson of the Prophet, one of the Panjatan, one of those holy five who were part of the Qisa, on which the surah, the verse 33 of Surah Ahzab was revealed. Along with him is Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, and Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. All of these are the signs of Allah, the Hujjah of Allah, and their broken graves remind us of the time after the event of Karbala, when there was no shade on the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or after the event of Karbala during the time of Abbasi's, when the tomb and the shrine of Imam Hussein as salam was destroyed by the Abbasis. So it is a sign of disrespect that is happening today that happened 1400 years ago. Second point, the lack of visitors and Shias, the true lovers of Imams alayhi salam, and the Muslims remind us of the time when the Zawar, those who wanted to go to Ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, were persecuted to visit Karbala. That is the same type of disrespect of not allowing the lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, the Quran of Allah, the talking the soul of the Qurans, and they're getting blessings from their shrines and their resting place is not allowed. It reminds us of what happened 1400 years ago. Then the third point is the open state of the graves and the lack of shade. It reminds us of the dungeons in which the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam were kept after the event of Karbala. These were the Ahle Haram. These were the daughters and the granddaughters of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were kept in dungeons which did not have any shade. When the sun beat down on them, their skins were burned. When it rained directly on them. When it was cold to shiver in the open skies. That is exactly the same feeling that you have in Baqi when there is no shade. When it rains directly on the graves of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. When it is 120 degrees hot in Medina, the stones of the graves burn and bake, and there is no shade to provide any comfort. And then number four is about the 24-hour surveillance by the army that continuously sees and surrounds the compound of Baqi so that no one can go and pay respect. And anyone who goes during the time when Baqi is opened, they are thrown out in a way that if they stand near the graves or they stand just to pay their respect, they are asked to leave and shown a club, otherwise they will be hurt with that. This is the state of the four Qurans in 2023. And how do and we do not say anything about the disrespect of these Qurans. How can we expect Allah to solve our problems if we do not show true taqwa by showing the respect to these four Qurans? Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.